Well, hello and welcome back to our not quite daily devotions. I hope that you're doing well and surviving, coping with all that's going on. If I was to say these words to you, it's all okay. Everything's going to be okay. You're safe. Nothing bad's going to happen. But they're comforting words, aren't they? But only if they're true. Imagine if there was a great tsunami heading towards street and we thought, I'm just gonna go inside and watch some Netflix, jump on my sofa and just relax. That would be no good. That would be ignoring the truth. And that's what Israel were doing, minus the Netflix. They were reclining on their couches, or so to be, or the rich ones were, and just acting as they wanted, ignoring God and thinking everything's going to be okay. We'll see if you can pick up some of those themes as you go through our reading today. It's from Amos chapter 5 verse 18 through to the end of chapter 6. So from Amos 5:18 through to the end of chapter 6. So there were some major issues going on there. They didn't care about what God cared for. They didn't care about his justice, about righteousness, or seeing those things in their nation. It seemed that the notable people, the rich people, they were just more concerned with having a nice, easy life, with the high life, in fact. Eating meat, eating and drinking and feasting, and they didn't really care about the spiritual bankruptcy of the nation. In chapter 6 verse 1 we see that they were complacent. They were okay, they were enjoying life, everything was good for them. Yeah, they had to take advantage of others to get where they were and enjoy what they had, but they were okay. They had bowlfuls of wine, they had meat, music and time to just relax and enjoy themselves. I don't think this is speaking against relaxing. We all need time to relax, we all need time out, just to recover and recuperate. I don't think this is speaking against enjoying life either. God is good, he's blessed us with many good things to enjoy. But when there is a spiritual tsunami coming, that is not the time to chill out and to make merry. And the issue that's brought out in chapter 6 verse 6, at the end of verse 6, is that they are not grieving over the ruin of Joseph. They're not bothered by it. They didn't see the danger. They didn't think that they needed to take action, because after all, they were safe. They were God's people. What was going to happen to them? But their confidence was based on a faulty presumption. They seem to have forgotten that God did care about how they lived, that the covenant they were in with God required them to obey him, to listen to him, to care about what he cared about. He cared about justice and righteousness. And because God cares about those things, they should too. It's foolish when people imagine that they can not concern themselves with the things that God is concerned about. So if our heart is not for God, if we're not interested in obeying him or listening to him or living to please him or introduce others to him, even though judgment is coming, then perhaps we have a problem too. Why did they think it was okay? Why did they think they could just carry on like this, ignoring God, but they would be safe? Well, they had their worship services. Back to chapter 5 verse 12, they were doing sort of all the right things. They were meeting together, offering fine-looking sacrifices. They were even making a joyful noise before the Lord, playing their harps and so forth. It all looks very religious and very nice. And they imagined that as long as they went through the motions of religion, God would be pacified and happy with them and everything would be okay. But actually it was shocking. Did you notice the word? God hated that. It was a stench to him. It was repulsive to him. This wasn't a nice, pleasant thing. Worship isn't about just doing a few religious things, about singing songs or attending church or drinking tea together. Worship is about having hearts that are genuinely seeking the Lord, that come to Him humbly and confess our sin, hearts that don't presume upon Him, but seek Him, that want to know Him, that long to know Him, that want to become like Him and care about the things that He cares about. And it's only when we have submitted our lives and our minds, our hearts, our attitudes, our emotions and everything else in our life before Him and to Him, that I think we can truly praise. That is true worship, to offer the whole of ourselves to Him. It's no good imagining we can indulge our sinful lives and desires throughout the week and then just pop into church and it's all going to be okay. Just to hear some nice warm words of comfort. God doesn't want and has never wanted just mere outward ceremony. He wants hearts that truly seek Him, souls who reach out for Him, people who treasure Him, who long to know Him, people who worship not because they must, and not because they're trying to earn some sort of religious brownie points, but hearts that want to worship because He is God. He is good, He is worth knowing, He's worth seeing, He's worth worshipping. Israel longed for the day of the Lord, the day of judgment. They longed for that because they imagined it would be a day of deliverance for them and a day of crushing defeat for their enemies, as it had been in years past. But in chapter 5, verse 18 to 20, God warns them, you got it wrong. All mouth and no heart is not what God wants. All words and no action, it's not going to cut it. You can't pull the wool over God's eyes. He wants people who truly want to know Him and follow Him, who value Him and value what He values. So I wonder if any of this applies to us. Does this apply to you, to me? Does this apply to Street Baptist Church? Does it apply to the wider church in Britain, in the world? Have we somehow lost our way? Are we complacent? Are we just a little bit thinking in the back of our minds, well, I'm okay. I'm saved. No need to worry about anyone else really. I'm okay. I wonder if the state of our lives, the state of the church, the state of the nation is ever really something we grieve over. Do we need to pray? Do we think we need to pray? Or do we just think, be okay. Don't need to pray. God will be all right. Yeah. Are we being presumptuous? I got a phone call in the middle of that before I could finish it, so I'm just going to finish it off now. So don't get me wrong. It is right to praise and rejoice and have services. They're good. But there is a time for real soul searching. Perhaps in this time of isolation, perhaps it should be a time of soul searching, a time of reevaluation, a time of thinking, well, where am I? Am I being complacent? Am I being presumptuous? Perhaps this could be a time of seeking the Lord afresh. Let me close with the words from an old hymn. Take time to be holy. Speak oft with thy Lord. Abide in Him always and feed on His word. Make friends of God's children. Help those who are weak. Forgetting in nothing His blessing to seek. So today, let's make sure we make the time to seek the Lord.